The deficit is killing our jobs in the nation. Unemployment is 9%. Many people don't understand the connection between our deficit and job killing. The problem we have with creating jobs in America right now is our businesses pay 35% tax, income tax, on their profits. It's second only to Japan. The average tax among the developed nations is 22%. That has caused 2.9 million jobs to leave our shores and go overseas. By the way, I'm going to give you an example of a company that brought jobs back from China based on waste reduction. Would you like to hear that? Okay. And I will be one of the black belts that delivers that in just a moment. So we have to reduce business taxes to be competitive, or there is no way out of 9% unemployment. And by the way, if David Stockman's right, unemployment is going to go much higher. As interest rates go higher, inflation will go higher, growth will slow, and unemployment will increase. That is not a prescription that we want, but that is the path we are currently on. 4 presidents cut business taxes dramatically and cut unemployment in half. Who were they? Anybody know? Reagan was one. Kennedy was the second one, yes. The next one's going to surprise you. It was Bill Clinton. Who said Warren Harding? And I thought I was the only one old enough to know Warren Harding. My grandchildren think I actually knew him, but it's not true. No, actually it was Harding and Coolidge that did that work. We had you're quite right, we had a 15% unemployment rate in 1921. Vice President Coolidge really led the charge. He cut taxes in half. He cut government spending in half. Unemployment fell from 15% to 3% by 1923, and the roaring 20s was on, correct? But his Secretary of Commerce's name was Herbert Hoover. He was in favor of raising taxes and raising deficit spending. And Coolidge said it years later, that man Hoover has been giving me unsolicited advice on economics for the last 10 years. All of it bad. Well, unfortunately, he had his hand on the tiller in 1929, and we know what happened after that. But we can't allow that to happen again. So I want to talk about the 2 plans briefly that Congress has. We have the congressional plan that Paul Ryan proposed, which has some good ideas in it. And we have the Deficit Commission plan that was proposed by a Republican, Simpson, and a Democrat, Bowles. And by the way, Dick Durbin, who is no right-wing guy, correct, from Illinois, voted in favor of this plan. So it is definitely bipartisan. Here I have the graphs. If you take a look at these graphs behind me, here's one here. You can see the Paul Ryan plan. It gets the deficit down to about $400 billion per year. That means we have to borrow $400 billion a year. Effectively, he says, well, we hope to get it down by 2040 to zero. That is the financial hereafter. You have the Deficit Commission plan, and it gets a little bit better, but about that. But the problem with it is it has some tax increases in it, which will not be needed if we have a $500 billion waste reduction. Now, if you take the taxes out of the Deficit Commission plan and also subtract $500 billion per year of waste reduction based on the Strong America Now initiative, look there, the deficit is zero by 2017. And we are here to tell you, we only want you to support those presidential candidates at the Ames straw poll and the caucus who agree and sign up for the Strong America Now pledge. Now, as presidential candidates, they're not only signing up to do this, they're signing up to take 2 days' worth of training so they understand what it is about, and then actually do a project between the time they're elected and the time they are in fact inaugurated. Now, why do we want the president to actually do a project and actually learn this stuff? Because Anatole France once said, education creates understanding, but only practice creates belief. As a consultant, we applied Lean Six Sigma to companies that were in real trouble. You remember Caterpillar had trouble a few years back, and now they're just going gangbusters. Well, a lot of it's due to international sales, yes, but a lot of it's due to the fact that they have great waste reduction. Xerox, we helped Anne Mulcahy They claim they've saved $4 billion as a result of this. The Army looked at all these deployments, and they copied effectively the Caterpillar Xerox deployment. It's the only deployment in the U.S. government that really follows all the best practices of industry. And when people say, how are we going to possibly do this, when I talk to people at the FBI or the Department of Commerce, I said, it's so simple. Go to the Army and learn from them. As a matter of fact, the Army's got a lot of training capacity that they could probably apply to the process. Okay, so there's no question it can work. But let's talk about these plans. I know that many of you are worried about Medicare. I can tell you right now, the Deficit Commission plan lets the clutch out on Medicare very slowly over years. With what Nurse Karen Rago is going to talk to us, by eliminating the waste in medical delivery system, it's not only going to help private insurers, but also medical people. We understand right now that medical care is around 18% of our whole gross domestic product. Wouldn't it be great if we could reduce it to like 12%? Wouldn't that be a fantastic achievement? Well, that's what we need to start working on, isn't it? And in her capable hands, and people like her, thousands across the country, we can get better results with less cost. Okay, but now good jobs are going to require what? We have about 1.2 million job openings right now that are not being filled. And the common refrain we hear is that the people aren't there that have the right math and science skills to fill that job. Even in manufacturing, you've got to know statistics now.
You cannot find skilled manufacturing workers
that want to work. Yes, sir. And the ones that want to work don't have the right training, don't have the right skills.
Because I want to be sure that everyone recognizes how important this skill shortage issue is. About a third of the manufacturers can't hire the right people for the jobs they've got. And it's because manufacturing has become so sophisticated, high-tech, and others that we need people to have at least some basic statistical and computer and other skills. This is a critical issue to keeping this manufacturing recovery going, and I think that all of manufacturing, including the people at the NAM, feel strongly that this is a top priority.
So how do we bring back manufacturing jobs in this country, even if the ultimate destination is going to be India or China or Brazil? What do we got to do to bring manufacturing back?
Well, I think one is that you have to have a qualified workforce, and that says...
Do we?
No, not the new people that are coming. One of the biggest challenges is to find a workforce that have the technical skills and the math and science skills that can operate machinery and can do technical work.